Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video today. Today we're going to be talking about more things that people usually ask for the YouTube videos. So we're going to go ahead and pull up some questions here that people usually ask during the videos. And we're also going to be talking about certain things in FIFA, whether it's worth upgrading to certain cards or not. So we're going to start off with the question that people usually ask, if it's worth upgrading to most of the inform cards. So with the inform cards, in terms of upgrades, right? The only cards that you should truly upgrade to are the ones that have stats that are significantly better than certain aspects of stats on cards. For instance, right? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull up an inform Willian right here, right? So Willian, if you look at his regular card, Willian has 76 shooting, whereas his inform has, I believe it is 80 shooting, so it's a +4 shooting. So when cards have a +4 shooting, that shooting concept is very important, right? Because obviously it's going to come down to the finishing, the composure, the shot power aspect. So with a card like Willian, we have to see what specifics actually make him worth buying, right? So you got a player that has 81 finishing, 74 shot power, 85 long shots with 79 composure. That's his inform card, right? His regular card has 77 finishing with 71 shot power, 81 long shots, and 79 composure still. So they didn't change his composure. His composure stayed the same. But his finishing, his shot power, and his long shots got higher. I think his inform might even have a boost in the passing, which is 85 instead of 81. And the short passing is 86 and 80 on the inform, and on the regular card it's 82 and 77 on the regular one. So when stuff like that is changed, that's when it's actually worth getting the upgrade on the card, because as you guys know, Willian is a very good person to use as a cam in the beginning of the game, because he's got the pace, the shooting, the passing, the dribbling, right? So for a card that you're paying for, because he's like 7k as a regular card, for a card that you're paying for, you're getting your value back, but obviously he's not full meta, right? So he's not going to be that crazy. But if you get his inform card, it's definitely worth getting. There's also the Man of the Match card that recently came out, and the Man of the Match card is 240k, which is a very reasonable price because, again, he has 90 pace, 83 shooting, so that's a +3 on the shooting, 87 passing, so I believe that's a +3 on the passing, and then 89 dribbling. When players have these specific stats, again, you look at the specifics of the card, whether it's worth getting or not. Certain informs, when they're upgraded, they're barely touched. As you guys know, with the player ratings refresh, which is just completely underwhelming in a general sense, the players get upgraded in certain stats that are important and certain stats that are like whatever, right? I've seen some informs for the ratings refresh where they do not touch their physical, but they actually made their pace a +4 or a +5. Sometimes they give a player a +4, +5 pace, but it's not improved like you think it is, right? Because then you actually go to the stats, and the acceleration and sprint speed isn't as improved as you think it would be, right? So if it's upgraded by like 1 or 2, it's not worth upgrading, obviously, right? I think the perfect example of cards that are not worth upgrading to is a Ronaldo card. The reason why Ronaldo card is not worth upgrading to, and I tell this to people all the time, the only version of Ronaldo that you should ever be considering getting in the future, if you're going to want to upgrade, is a striker Ronaldo, because a striker Ronaldo, you can work with the chemistry a little bit easier, because it's a striker card, so you can put him as a cam, center mid, striker, center forward, so he can get that chemistry. And then you can use the left wing, which is the regular one, because if you actually look at the stat differences, right, there's not a big difference between a regular Ronaldo and the upgraded versions of his card, right? So if you actually look at his card, the team of the year is 99 in so many different specific stats that make him very good, right? You got the 96 acceleration, 99 sprint speed, 99 finishing, 99 shot power, 97 long shots, 93 volleying. So you guys get the point, right? If you give this guy probably a Deadeye card to make his passing even better, because 88 long passing, even though it's amazing, it could be better, obviously. Or what I would suggest you to do is to make his dribbling better. So if you give him an engine card where it improves his passing, his pace, and his dribbling, you would get better balance, because the balance part of his card is the thing that is the most noticeable on the Ronaldo card. But if you look at the other cards, right? If you look at his regular version of his card, he has stats that are already very good. The only difference of the stats of upgrading your Ronaldo card is the long passing and the short passing, right? But it's not a big enough influence to go from spending 1.3 mil on the Xbox, which by the way seems really cheap nowadays, 1.3 mil on the Xbox, or on the PlayStation 1.6 mil, right? To stepping up to a, let's just say, a 96 striker Ronaldo, who is now 2.7 million coins. So that's another million coins, right, that you can use on an icon or something, so that you can have like better players in other positions. Like, I'd rather just keep a regular Ronaldo in my team and then upgrade if I can in the future. But every other position is important too, because the regular Ronaldo will do its job. It won't be as good as a team of the year or an inform, but in terms of value for price of what you're paying for it, doesn't really seem like it's worth that much, right? Some other cards that I would think of is like, I could see like Firmino, right? So Firmino's card is a card that I use in my team. I actually really like his card, right? So the regular version of his card has 77 pace, 82 shooting, 80 passing, 86 dribbling, 77 physical. But when he gets upgraded, right? Let's just say to his 87. His 87 right now is a 260k player. 260k for the type of player that you're getting in a Roberto Firmino is pretty good. His pace is low, 100%. 83 acceleration, 83 sprint speed isn't the greatest, but he is a fantastic player to use. His finishing is quite good with 90 finishing, 85 shot power, 86 long shot with a 4-star weak foot. And he can actually win the ball in the air with 87 jumping and 81 heading. So another card that's worth upgrading to. Maybe the team of the group stage might even be worth upgrading to, because the team of the group stage now has 87 finishing with 82 shot power, 83 long passing. If you check out his regular card, his shot power isn't as high, but it's not like a complete difference. It's usually never really worth switching to the first inform for most cards, but there are cards that make a difference. Again, like the inform Willian card, he actually did make a difference in terms of the upgrade. The regular Firmino has very bad acceleration and sprint speed, which is very important if you're attacking. His strength is lower, and his heading is 72. Heading being 72 in relations to an 87 rated card that has 81 heading is a big difference, right? Because he's 5'11", he's quite strong because he has 81 strength with the highest inform version of his card, and he can actually jump in the air, right? So that's a very important thing to have in the game, is being able to win those 50-50s in the air, right? The shorter players are usually never going to win those 50-50s for you. They might dribble better, but they won't win those 50-50s for you, right? So if you want to cross the ball at any point, those guys will never really win the ball for you, right? So a card like Roberto Firmino is pretty good. Other cards that I can think of, I think Mahrez got an inform card, and people like really raved about the Mahrez. So the regular Mahrez card has 82 pace, 76 shooting, 79 passing, and 88 dribbling. That alone is really bad. It's just not good enough in FIFA nowadays, because everyone rocks meta, right? It's you can have fun with the card, sure, but you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. But if you get the 86 version of a card, you're upgrading his shooting and his pace, right? As well as his dribbling. So his dribbling is more responsive, it's quicker, right? But the thing is that his reaction time is a little bit lower, so he won't be as quick as, say, like someone like Salah or something, right? He has 81 finishing, 83 shot power, with 78 long shots, so that's not the greatest, right? But he has really high acceleration and 82 sprint speed. So he's more of the type of player that is going to be very good for you dribbling wise, but not getting in behind the defense that often, because he has the good acceleration, but he doesn't have the sprint speed to make up for running across the pitch and trying to get through on goal, right? 80 stamina isn't a crazy value for him, especially since it's his highest version of an inform. Yeah, I don't know what else there is. I think like Benatia is a pretty big upgrade to make, I would say. Let me check what his card's at. Yeah, so Benatia is definitely worth the upgrade. So an informed Benatia is 92k. He's probably one of the better center backs in the Serie A, because he's medium-high work rates, which with very good defensive stats. His acceleration is 74 and 79, which is pretty decent. You can give him a shadow card, so you can make him a defensive god, as well as giving him that extra acceleration and sprint speed that defenders really, really need in order for them to move left and right properly. He has 78 composure, which is quite decent for a center back, so he won't be, he won't feel like he's being under pressure when he's in the defensive area, right? So another very good card. Again, you have to look at the specifics of cards, right? Most of the times you upgrade to the first version of the card, it's not really worth getting. But then when you upgrade to a first inform or second, the first informs are depending, second inform and higher usually are worth it, but not always worth it, right? Because there's always those specific stats that you'll always notice with players in terms of whether or not they're going to be good or bad. People were asking me if it would be worth doing, I believe, the Kluivert. So we're going to go ahead and check that card. The thing about FIFA nowadays, guys, is that FIFA nowadays, cards, there's specific stats of cards that are very noticeable nowadays. And I always tell that to people, right? That stats are very noticeable. Something with Kluivert that would be incredibly noticeable is he's a four-star player with high-low work rate, which is great. But for my play style, I wouldn't like having a player who is 6'2" while also having 77 balance and 76 agility. That's just too low, right? Because if you have 76 agility and you have 77 balance, but you're smaller, then it won't be that big of an influence, right? Because you're small, so you don't have all this time to work with your footing and stuff, right? Whereas Kluivert will take a little bit longer. Now, there are stats and traits that contradict each other, as you guys always know, right? Sometimes certain traits contradict whether a player is really good or whether a player is really bad. If he has traits like the technical dribbler, speed dribbler, and stuff like that, then his dribbling would be significantly better. But I highly doubt that this card does, because Kluivert doesn't really seem like the type of guy that would to have that. And I can't see where it is on Foothead in particular, so I won't even be able to check that for you guys. I think on FootWiz they probably do have it. But is this card worth doing? It's a card worth trying out. You're not guaranteed that it's going to be good. When you look at certain cards, right? We're going to look at Ronaldo. Just give me 1 second. When you look at a player like Ronaldinho, right? He is the type of card that before you do him, before you actually do his SBC or you buy him, it's a card that's going to be good because there's literally nothing wrong with the card. He has maybe high-low work rates is probably the downfall, but the work rates isn't going to influence how much you like that card, right? Because he's perfect at everything, right? His shooting is good, pace is good, dribbling is good. He's not unbalanced for the height that he has. He's a perfect card, right? Whereas someone like Kluivert, he has that low agility, he has that bad balance, right? So it's going to be very noticeable in the game, right? When you're dribbling with him and you want to do those really quick touches, he's not going to be able to do it as well, right? He's going to take a little bit longer to do those really intricate little touches that he needs to do in order for him to get into space. So those are kind of things that people need to be very wary about. He looks like a player that'll win the ball a lot in the air, and that actually looks like what his card revolves around the most. It looks like a card that's worth trying out. That's what I'm saying, right? I can tell you before you even try out the card that the dribbling is not going to be that good. Martial will have better dribbling than Kluivert, and Martial's dribbling is not even that great, right? But Kluivert's dribbling isn't going to be very good. But it seems like his card really revolves around being a target man striker because of the physical stats that he has, as well as the big posture he has in game and being 6'2" with high-low work rates. And he seems like the type of guy that if you send a ball into the box with, he's probably going to win it most of the times because he's huge in game. I've already seen this card in game. He's massive. So if you put a ball into the box, he'll probably win it most of the time. So that's kind of like what his card revolves around. So if you're that type of play style of a player, definitely worth trying out. But I'm looking at the card price right now, and it's 1.5 mil. And 1.5 mil seems like it's quite a lot. I don't know if I would spend that much on a prime Kluivert when you can get someone like Ronaldo, who is significantly better, right? The biggest thing with this card that could be a huge downfall is the 79 composure. 79 composure for a prime version of a striker card of an icon is really odd, right? I think they should at least give him at least 84 composure because it's the prime version of the icon card. So it doesn't really make sense that you're giving him the same composure as someone like Martial for a prime version of the icon card. So it's a little bit weird, right? Because composure makes a huge difference. Oh, and that brings me to another thing. People ask what composure does. So what composure basically does in game is that it's one of the most important stats in FIFA, and it's one of the dumbest stats in FIFA. It's a stat that I wish never existed in this game because it's incredibly stupid and it makes some players very unusable, right? So what does composure do? Composure you have to think about the scenarios, right? So composure, what it does is like if you're a striker and you are receiving pressure around your general area, your player will take a worse shot depending on the composure that he has. So you know how your player has 90 finishing and 92 shot power? That gets decreased because of his composure. It doesn't get decreased if he has no pressure around him, but it does get decreased when he does have pressure around him. And most of the time, since defensive AI is so overpowered in this game, most of the times the composure is going to play a huge factor in terms of whether he will score or miss. 90 finishing compensates for the composure very well because 90 finishing is quite high, as well as the 92 shot power with the 4-star weak foot and the height that he has. But you will notice him missing certain opportunities where you're like, why does a 90 finishing striker not score this opportunity, right? So you will definitely notice those certain aspects of the card. So it's very odd that they give him 79 composure. They should definitely give him 84 because it only makes sense to have a prime version of a striker card to have that high finishing, right? So that's definitely an interesting situation. But basically, yeah, so composure is like if they have pressure around them, they're going to take a worse shot. Not all the time. Like sometimes they still take really good shots with pressure on them. When you're in the midfield and you're dribbling, it's the composure on the ball. So it's very self-explanatory. So it's like composure on the ball with the pressure that you're receiving. So you know how some players in real life, they'll fumble under the pressure? A person like Kluivert with 79 it balances out because his physical is quite decent, but you'll notice that you can tell that the player feels pressurized. Again, this is why I don't like this stat, right? Because he makes players unusable. Defending wise, it's how composed your player is on the defense. So when he's on the ball and he has pressure around him, it's how well he deals with the situation. A very good example of that, and this is why Bai is such a god, right? Is that I always pronounce his name wrong. I think it's just just with one L? It is. No, it's not. It's two L's, isn't it? Oh, that's weird. I don't know why I never find it then. I always spell it. Oh, it's because I put an E instead of the Y. That's why. Yeah, but his composure, right, on the Bai card is 74. 74 composure on the center back card is very nice. Hence why I tell people that the composure stat, even for a defender, is very important because it'll help them dribble better on the defensive side, right? So it's definitely a very good card as well. He's massively fast in real life, so 78 pace makes a lot of sense. But I would say that Varane is probably a little bit quicker, but it's hard to say because Vincent Kompany caught up with Aubameyang the other day, so it's tough to say in FIFA, right? But in terms of composure, that's what it does. Because some people were saying that they didn't even know what it did, but that is what it does. So we're gonna go ahead and read some questions from the videos because I know people are usually interested in seeing or listening to what my opinion on certain things. So, hey buddy, which formation would you recommend? The formation that I recommend really depends on your playstyle. So if you're an aggressive attacker and you can outscore your opponent, use a 4-1-2-2 bracket 2. But defensively, that formation isn't going to be very good for you because what happens, right, is that if you push your fullbacks inside, you have so much space to work with on the side. The opponent has so much space to work with on the side. If you push one of your center mids out to the side, they have space to work with in the middle. So you have to have very good players. The formation, I feel like, works best if you have decent players. Like, even if you can afford like a Nangolan, a Conte, and then a really good left center mid, it'll work out a little bit better, right? But if you have really bad players in those positions, people are going to exploit you like crazy. People usually go for wide play nowadays. Like, I've noticed the reason why I switched to 4-2-3-1 is because people usually go for that wide play, right? They always try to push out to the side. And the reason why they do that, again, and I always explain this to people, is because the fullbacks, sometimes they push into the middle when they should just stay on the sides. Even if you don't press second man press, you will notice that your fullback will push out of position. And people say that's because of the aggression. It's not. I've tried changing the defensive tactics with the pressure and aggression, and they seem to always do the same thing to create space for the other player. So you'll notice sometimes, right, when you're playing against someone, they're controlling their fullback, right, so that they don't move that fullback out of position, right? Because they will do that by themselves, and they'll just second man press and keep that fullback in their position. So that's why I use the 4-2-3-1 bracket too, because I tell my left mid and my right mid to come back on defense with high work rates, so they'll do that more often, right? So that's the formation that I would recommend. Hi man, I've watched quite a lot of your videos, which has helped me improve my gameplay and also my FUT Champions record. I noticed you have a few good things to say about Bai, but I don't think I've ever heard you mention Manolas. In my opinion, Manolas is the best center back under 10k, but I need your opinion on Manolas still. I will really appreciate that. Keep up the good work, and I'm looking forward to the next video. Thank you. Manolas' card is really, really, really good. I love his card. His card's really good. But the thing about Manolas, right, is that every player needs chemistry around them, right? If you use Manolas, you need to use Florenzi and Nainggolan. I'm not a huge fan of Nainggolan, and Florenzi isn't as good as Valencia. So because the game is very, very meta-oriented nowadays, where if you don't have meta in every single position, you're going to lose most of your games. Because here's the thing about the FIFA community, right? They never take into account the team that you're using against someone else, because this game doesn't revolve around the fun concept. It revolves around winning, which is why it's in its current state right now, right? It should be revolved around trying out different players and having fun. But because of the introduction of FUT Champs, more people are serious about winning. Like, I used to use like 8 different teams back in FIFA 15, and now I don't do that because everyone rocks meta, and it's just really annoying, right? To play Division 1 and everyone's doing the exact same thing, like the Mbappes, the Alessandrinis and stuff, right? Like, even me, I'm using like Mkhitaryan, Gabriel Jesus, Inform Tolisso, Roberto Firmino. People don't usually use these types of cards, right? Like, they'll use Vidal, Alessandrini, and blah, 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 right? Like, they'll use those cards. You can use meta. Meta is important. If you want to win your games, meta is important. But the thing about using a Manolas card is that if you're using him and you like Florenzi and Nainggolan, you're in a good position. But if you don't like them, you're going to put yourself in a bad situation. Because again, like I was saying, the FIFA community, they never take into account the team and the formation that you're using. They never take into account the specifics, right? Sometimes when I play a draft and someone beats me like 2-1 or 2-0, people will tell me in my chat that I got outplayed. When my defense consists of Coleman, CDM Schneiderlin, a silver center back from Crystal Palace, and my left back being Luke Shaw, which is quite decent, but still not good enough nowadays because people have, like, in drafts, people can get, like, Team of the Year, Ronaldo and Messi, so we're just going to bully, they're just going to completely go through Luke Shaw, right? People don't really consider the team that you're using. So if you're a content creator, it's very difficult to try out different teams, because if you do so and you lose, you get crucified, and then it's just annoying. Because the thing about the community is that, like, if you lose and you're a content creator, people are on top of you, right? But it's like, even if you're very calm and you're moving on from that loss and you're just like, oh, well, I'm just going to go on the next game, people just try to say stuff to you to trigger you. So sometimes, like, I'm at the point nowadays with a lot of people in the community, like with my streams, where I don't even look at the chat most of the times, because I try to entertain the people who watch the streams most of the times, because people are just really, really weird nowadays, and I feel like the current state of the game is because of the community. But like, I think EA is massively at fault for it, but I think the community is also at fault for it as well, right? Because a lot of different reasons. Don't want to get into it. Maybe I will in another video. But I kind of already said my 2 cents in the FIFA 19 wish list, which is probably never going to happen, but it is what it is. Greetings from Brazil. I subscribed like a month ago and I cannot miss one single video of yours. Great analysis and excellent understanding of players' attributes plus tactics. I would love to see a 4-2-2 instructions tactics tutorial. I currently use it as a 2 CDM and feel like protects the defense line a bit more. I am horrible defending. Keep up the great work. In regards to the 4-2-2, the 4-2-2 is an interesting formation. I think I mentioned this in the other video. The 4-2-2, you need the right players to make that formation work, right? Because you would never start off with a 4-2-2. It just wouldn't happen. Because unless you have a lot of money and you could afford the striker versions of informs and you can use them as a cam, like a Gareth Bale and a Ronaldo, it's not really going to work out that well, right? So you would definitely have to try out using a different formation, like a 4-3-3, and put like a striker in the center mid role, and then in game you switch to a 4-2-2. The reason why I don't try out the 4-2-2 is because I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm very put off of trying out different things in this game, because when I find a system that works for me, changing that system isn't a good idea to do. Because I think people have noticed this recently. When it comes to Ultimate Team, right? Trying out different formations and tactics isn't really like a thing you want to do all the time, right? The thing that I've noticed with FIFA in a general sense is that when I play head-to-head online, right? This is not even Ultimate Team, this is just regular head-to-head online. I've noticed that I'm more prone to trying out different things and trying out different formations because it just seems more fun in head-to-head because it's not as serious. And I think the reason why it's not as serious is because, again, no competitive game mode that completely ruins the concept of the game, right? When people play head-to-head, when I play against these guys, I see people using like 4-3-3s and stuff, right? And I'm just like, wow, I never see this in Ultimate Team. Everyone uses meta in Ultimate Team, right? And I feel like it's going in the direction that it shouldn't be going towards because Foot used to be such a fun game mode because people used to try out different things. When I play head-to-head seasons, I actually have more fun than I do when I play Ultimate Team. The only thing I don't like about head-to-head is that there's no progression system. There's no progression system in Ultimate Team, but at least like if I play a game, I get 500 coins, whereas in head-to-head, you win, and then you just move on from there and get nothing. If you win Division 1 in head-to-head, you also get nothing. So it's kind of like, whatever, right? Yeah, they have their gameplay concepts really wrong, in my opinion. But it is what it is in its current state. But the 4-2-2, I don't know. I think I'd put stay back while attacking for the fullback, stay back while attacking for the CDMs. The cam, I'd let them roam freely. And in the strikers, I would only change their instructions due to the opponent that I'm facing. So I'd keep them on balance for now. And then if I notice that I want them to get behind and press the back line, or I want them to be target man, then I switch it in-game when I notice that a player is playing a specific way with his defense, or his fullbacks are overcommitting, and I tell my strikers to drift out wide so that I can exploit that space out more. So that's what I would say for the 4-2-2. Bro, you should use Goretzka Inform. Card has a high price, but his stats are icon stats, so he's kind of cheap if you think about it. He's a good card. I like Inform Goretzka a lot, but I don't like using Inform Goretzka as a CDM, and I'm not going to be using him as a cam, right? So the thing about the Goretzka card is that he's a very, very good player to have if you're using him as a right center mid in a 4-1-2-2, right? But I personally don't like him as a CDM. I didn't like the way he moved around the pitch at all. It's weird because I actually prefer the Inform Tolisso over the Goretzka card. And Inform Tolisso has high medium work rate. So that in itself is really weird for me. But sometimes in FIFA, that's just kind of like how it works, right? But yeah, Inform Goretzka is a very good card to use in a 4-1-2-2 if you're using him in the right center mid. But other than that, I wouldn't use him as a CDM. And right now, this game is super, super defensive oriented, which really sucks. It's really boring to play this game, man. I'm telling you guys, because the attacking is just not worth doing against how OP this defensive AI is. So it just really sucks, but it's what gets the wins, right? So let's see. Appreciate all the insight and tips. Wondering if you could do an in-depth review of the 4-2-2. We talked about that one. Dude, you are amazing. Keep up the good work. Hope you good luck. Thank you, dude. Appreciate it. You look into everything so deeply. I don't know how you enjoy the game. Dude, if you're a content creator, it's all about winning, man. It's tough to play the game and not win and have people enjoy it, right? Winning is like a huge concept of it. Like if I try out a different team and it's completely off in terms of a meta concept, people don't look into that. They just look into like you got outplayed, blah, 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 and it's just not really fun. So that's why I don't really try out different teams that often. I tried to change up my team the other day and I lost my chance to win Division. I won Division 1 every single time until the one point that I was like, hey, I'm going to try out different players, and then I completely lost it. And I remained in the division to qualify for Foot Champs, but we ended up not playing it because game was too stressful. But yeah, that's kind of like what happened in that situation. But in terms of the fun concept, I tell people this all the time, man. You know, you don't have to listen to what I say because my way of thinking is less fun in this game. But if you're not a content creator and if you lose games, you can just move on from it easily. Dude, just try out players you want to have fun with. The meta players that I tell you to use, you should use if you really care about winning. But if you want to use the Iscos as a center mid and you want to use like Verratti in the game, be my guest. But they're not going to be worth putting in those positions if you want to win. But if you want to have fun because it's Isco and because it's Verratti, then obviously be my guest and have fun with the game, right? Because my way of thinking is definitely a way that's just not as fun. You should post some Fortnite gameplay soon. Fortnite's a thing that people are like kind of like switching over to, but I don't think it would really do that well on my FIFA channel because the thing about FIFA content creators, right, is that we're very well aware that if our main game is FIFA, we can't really join other games, right? We've kind of noticed that because yeah, some of you guys may have already seen it on Twitch where if a FIFA guy switches over to Fortnite, it doesn't work as well. And it's not their fault and it's not their viewers' fault. The viewers just like to play FIFA. When most FIFA guys only play FIFA for the entirety of the year, right? They don't really play other games, but there are some guys that do play the games, but they're just not interested in watching it, right? So and I don't know, maybe one day I'll just post it randomly, like if I have a really good gameplay, because I'm pretty decent at the game. If I have a really good gameplay where I get over like 10 kills or something on the console, then I'll definitely be looking into posting that on YouTube and see if people like it. If people like it, then I would definitely post more of it for sure. Fullbacks don't go forward on formations with wingers, so there's no need to have them on stay back while attacking. Get your stuff right. That's completely false. Fullbacks do push up, even if you have wingers on the sides, because it all depends on your instructions. If you tell your wingers to cut inside and get behind, they're not going to be in the space of the outside and the wide side. So the fullbacks will definitely occupy that spot, and they'll occupy that spot in general when you're doing passing plays amongst the winger and the fullback. So yeah, sorry. But you're not correct on that one, my friend. If you would have a God squad, you would go top 100 for sure. I don't really care about getting top 100. Like, I don't really care about the concept of whether if I had a God squad, I would get top 100 or not. I'm not that type of person, although, you know, it would make a huge difference. I don't know, man. I think the concept of foot champs, I just really hate it. You know, like as you guys know, I can do well in the game. I don't have a crazy squad, but I can still hit Elite 1 with it on stream, right? If I do it off stream, I actually there's a chance that I can get top 100 because when I do it on stream, a lot of people stream snipe and they know the tactics and stuff, so it's definitely harder to play. And then when people stream snipe with their God squads, it's another thing too, right? I've noticed that when I played off stream, there was actually one weekend where I went 20-0 when I streamed off stream because I didn't face a single person that I recognized, right? And when I stream, I usually face a lot of people that I recognize. I don't mind facing people that are from my streams. It's that when people actually stream snipe me, have a God squad, and then play a certain way, like, you know, like they just pass around the back just to get a reaction, it's like, it's a little bit underwhelming. But yeah, if you're a guy that tries to do well in foot champs, and you're from NA, because NA's player base is really low. I find the same people in drafts divisions all the time, and foot champs as well. You're gonna have problems if you stream, because if you have like a good amount of viewers, like when we stream foot champs, we'll get around like 600 at this point, which is awesome. And a lot of those guys that are still playing the game are watching the stream and stuff. So it's pretty easy to stream snipe in the game nowadays because the game's, I wouldn't say that the game is dying, but you're always finding the exact same people in the game. You're never really finding different people. So yeah, I might even be able to get it without streaming, but it doesn't really bother me that much, man. I just don't like the concept of foot champs. I can do well in it, but I hate the concept of playing it's not even like the playing 40 games part, which it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. It's because of the gameplay, right? Like if I hop onto the game and my game feels fast and responsive at all times during any time of the day, playing 40 games wouldn't be that big of an issue for me. So I could play 13 games in a day easily. I can play 40 games in a day. Not easily, but I can do it, right? If the gameplay is good enough. But like this last weekend, we literally went 1-0 in PlayStation. I went into the game, my players felt really slow and sluggish, and I just wasn't about playing the game because I wasn't about playing competitive FIFA in a gameplay that's not competitive, right? It's a casual gameplay if you can't move quickly and do the small little intricate touches quickly and pass the ball in a certain way. I can win the games, right? I've done it for the weekends where I got 34-6 and 35-5, but I just didn't feel like doing that last weekend, right? I don't feel like playing a game that I have to face the game rather than facing the opponent. A lot of people, we're going to actually get into this right now because I did a tweet the other day, and the tweet that it was actually yesterday. I did a tweet the other day saying how much I really dislike EA as a company and how much I really dislike this game in general, right? And I had a lot of people that say that you just have to adjust to the gameplay because people can still get the results, blah, 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 right? Which is true, but that's not the reason why I'm making the tweet, because I do get good results. I do well in this game. I have a very good draft record on Xbox. I have a very good record on PlayStation and Xbox. It's not about the record. It's not about the results. The gameplay sucks, right? It's terrible, right? And the reason why I'm getting into this is because I don't really bring this to my YouTube channel, because I don't want to bring the negativity of my streams that happen every single day to my YouTube channel. But most of you guys already know how I feel about this. The thing about this game is that the gameplay for the last 5 years, right, even back in FIFA 14, has always been inconsistent, right? It never has one gameplay. And I'm kind of at the point where I feel like EA are not going to do anything about it, because they haven't done anything about it twice. When I went to their studios, I told them, like, hey, your gameplay is inconsistent. During some parts of the day, it's good. During some parts of the night, during some parts of the day, it's bad. Most parts of the days, it's bad. Most parts of the day, night, it's decent. But depending, it's not always consistent. Like, oh, if it hits 10:30, it's good. It's completely random, right? And I feel like they took that information and just completely threw it in the bin, right? So that's why I was like voicing my frustration on Twitter. And I had a lot of people that say that, like, why do I continue to play the game? People need to understand that as a content creator, right? I worked really hard to grow my stream. Not necessarily my YouTube channel, because the YouTube channel has been like a recent thing. I've worked really hard to grow my stream to the point where it's at. But the success of the stream depends on the game. Do you know what I'm saying? So if I stop streaming right now, right, and I don't stream for 7 months until a new game comes out, right now I'll have maybe 200, 300 people watching the afternoon, which is still great. It's a lot of people watching the stream, but in comparison to what it was 2 years ago, consistently getting 1,000 people every single stream, it's my success in streaming depends on the game. And some people will say it is my fault. People need to understand, if they've been a part of the FIFA community, that that's not the case at all, right? And this is not me to name names, because it's not because it's not the streamer's fault at all. But if you see the bigger streamers who play FIFA, when they play FIFA, they do not get near as close as to what they used to get in FIFA, right? Like, back in days, some of these guys used to get like 7,000 concurrent playing the game, actually, and doing stuff, right? They used to get 10,000 concurrents playing the game, doing stuff, 4,000, 3,000. And now these guys have like 3,000, 2,500, right? It's a game that it depends on. I'm sorry that I'm talking slowly. It's because I'm talking so much in the span of an hour. It's a game that depends on, like, it's our growth depends on the game being good. Like, for instance, even if I don't say anything about how poor the game is, right? Even if I don't say anything, people know that the game is poor, so they're not interested in watching the game. If they really hate the game, they're going to stop watching it. As you guys know on Twitch right now, if you guys hop on Twitch at nighttime during like 11 p.m., the second highest person who has views is like 150 people. That's really bad, because when I started off streaming, 2 or 3 years ago, when I was building my way up, I at least had 150 people at nighttime. And I wasn't like a streamer who had a lot of followers. I had like maybe like 6K at the time, right? 6K, 7K around that at nighttime. That's, in comparison to now, that's a lot of people, because I didn't even have a lot of people now. And that's when I had like 6,000, 7,000 people. Imagine a Twitch stream nowadays that has over 90K and can't even get like around 300 during the afternoon, right? Imagine a Twitch stream that has over 1 million, can't even get like 4 or 5K concurrent viewers when they play the game, even during foot champs, right? It's very bad, and they definitely need to change the state of the game. I don't want to bring my negativity of my tweets and my Twitch streams to my YouTube videos, because I want to keep this very positive and very informative for the people that do like watching this game. But that is how I feel about the game and the company. I do think, forgive me for anyone who actually genuinely works there and tries to put their ideas into the game, but as a general company, I really, really dislike EA. Very much so. Because if I tell you that your gameplay has been inconsistent for 2 years when no one used to talk about it, and then 2 years later everyone talks about it and it's still not fixed, it just makes me hate the company even more. Because it's like, if you go to a company like Epic Games who do Fortnite, right? Those guys listen to their community. Those guys listen to the stuff that they're saying. EA doesn't, right? Well, the EA does. I can't lie. EA does do a certain things like their foot champs. Their foot champs is a joke in terms of qualification because of all the cheaters and stuff, right? The concept of foot champs is an absolute joke. But there are certain concepts that EA do fix, but most of the concepts they don't, and they don't add anything cool to this game. So I don't genuinely feel that bad for saying the stuff that I do. I had one guy that said that he had friends that work there. It's not about the individuals that work there, because the individuals that work there, I really dislike when people go towards them and say that their game is shit, because some of these individuals have great ideas that they want to add into the game. It's EA as an organization that I hate, because they're the ones that are the higher ups that don't do anything about this game because they just think about the profits. But the thing is that you can think about the profits, but you can also be making money, right? Like, especially the World Cup mode. The World Cup mode in FIFA 14 was the best for both the regular player and both for the player that that spent the money on the game. You have to have a good balance in that, right? If you have a good balance in that, that's where your game succeeds, right? But nowadays, dudes, I'm telling you, when I play drafts on Xbox, I find the same people. If I play Division 1 on PlayStation, I find the same people. Because it's so easy. Guys, I'm telling you, it's so easy to stream snipe someone now because no one's playing the game. There was a guy who literally made his team name Decepticons and found me in Division when I was searching twice and not finding a single person, right? So it's like, dude, on the weekdays, what am I supposed to do? Am I going to go play against a single match? If I play against a single match and someone's really, really bad at the game and they just want to have fun and try out the team, it's not fair, right? If you face someone in the top 3 divisions, at least it's around your rating, but people stop playing the game. So what happens, right, is the really, really hardcore guys, the guys that get really good finishes in foot champs, are the ones that continue to play Division 1. So it's not fun to play foot champs during the weekends and essentially playing foot champs during the weekdays, because you're actually facing Division 1 people. In foot champs, you know, you could come up against someone who's from Division 4, Division 5, but in divisions, it's so easy to find the same exact person. But that's as far as I want to go with this whole situation in FIFA and in terms of content. That's why I've been working really hard on my YouTube channel recently, because there's been more success on the YouTube channel recently, so I'd rather just grow the channel, and when I stream, it's just for the gameplay concept so I can put on the YouTube, because streaming right now is completely dead. People genuinely don't care to watch FIFA for the most part. Only the hardcore guys do that, think that the game is not broken. But the guys who think that the game is broken have already left. They're gone because they know, right? But the guys who don't think it, they're there, and that's why it's super AIDS nowadays, right? Hopefully next year, which is 7 months from now, is better, but I don't see them changing anytime soon. Hopefully they add a World Cup game mode to freshen up some things, but gameplay is still going to be inconsistent unless they figure out a system where, or not to figure out a system, it's not them figuring out anything because their gameplay is inconsistent. If the World Cup game mode feels anything like Division 1 on PlayStation 4 in terms of the way that the gameplay feels, I will be more than happy to stream every single day. Because the gameplay in Division 1 on PlayStation is, for the most part, pretty good. So it'll be at least playable to play the World Cup game mode. So I hope to God that it's going to be like that. I don't think we have any more questions from these videos because I haven't really posted in the last 3 or 4 days. So we don't have too many. But again, guys, if you guys have any questions, be sure to leave them down below in the comment section, because, oh wait, Prime Ronaldinho video might actually have some questions. So that, we can answer these questions in a form of a podcast for the YouTube, because people actually told me to make a or a video longer than an hour because they like when I talk about things, I guess. So I'm definitely gonna keep continuing it. Dude, I love the setup. The long video is cool. I enjoy listening to it like a podcast. See what I mean? I really like the Q&A setup. It's interactive when we get the info we're looking for. Got you, my dude. Got you. Please do a right card review. Like I said, man, testing out different players for me is a no-go because gameplay is super inconsistent. So it's not really that fun to try out different players, right? So I know that people like to see squad reviews, so I definitely need to consider doing it more because it's the type of content that people really like. But I would definitely have to look into what type of squads that I would be making, right? Concerning CR7, I totally agree. When I saw his Team of the Year card, I got totally disappointed with the balance. Yeah, it's the balance, but the balance is very noticeable. But if you can improve the balance a little bit, it's very, very good. Dude, your videos slash podcasts are so amazing. The only thing that makes me calm during foot champs are your vids, are your explanations and how the game is, etc. Keep it up. Your videos and channel will grow up massively because you are one of the only guys who really cares about the game and understands it completely. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's so nice. See, when I read a comment like that, you guys make my day when you do that, man. Because I'll be completely honest with you guys, man. My YouTube channel, in terms of comments, has been 10 times better than the comments, than the stuff that I get in Twitch chat. And it's pretty great to see, because I've actually noticed a thing, right? When people come from the YouTube channel to the Twitch streams, you guys are genuinely really cool, right? And it's really weird because back in the day, it was not like that at all. Like, I even got to a point when I first started doing YouTube where I was like, yo, I'm probably gonna disable the comments, you know? But you guys are like really awesome in the comment section, like way better than the Twitch chat. So I do appreciate that a lot. When you guys come to the streams, it's always a good time, right? I appreciate you guys stopping by, man. Underrated YouTubers should have at least 400K subs. See what I mean, man? Like, you guys are so great, man. You guys are so great. The sick game is dying. It is dying, bro. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts to it, dude. Content creation on YouTube and Twitch, like, the YouTubers are at this point, I would say that they're surviving, right? Every year in FIFA, for the last, I would say, 3 years, this time is always the survival time for content creators, right? It's the, hey, I need to stay relevant until they actually do something to the game to actually make it a proper video game for me to do stuff, right? Every YouTuber's like that, oh, decrease in views, blah, blah. It happens like this every year, right? So it's just like a general thing. Again, this is why I'm working on my YouTube channel now, because the Twitch streams, whoo, it's just gone downhill, my friend. Dude, I swear to God, if I stop for 7 months and I play when the new game comes out, it'll go up. Like, that's how bad it is, dude, because a person who doesn't stream for half a year and comes back usually won't get a really good amount of views, but I've done it for 2 years already, and it happens every single year, man. It's really bad. Hopefully it's adjusted, but we'll see, man. We'll see. Nostalgia, Ronaldinho making high placebo concept. No, that's not the case at all, man, because Ronaldinho's card is actually really good. If you look at Thierry Henry's card, the reason why I don't like him, and Thierry Henry is a player that I really thoroughly enjoyed watching back in the day, is because his balance isn't good enough for his card to be good. Because I don't think Thierry Henry actually has any dribbling traits, whereas I think Ronaldo does. So Thierry Henry feels worse. His finishing is incredible, but I've used a Thierry Henry already. I don't think it's worth the price, but at the same time, he's still a very good meta player. So I don't know. It's tough to say. I mean, he'd probably be way better than a Martial. Let's be real. Like, if I was going to compare like a Thierry Henry to a Martial, obviously I would go with a Thierry Henry. But you know, it's a weird concept, man. It's a weird concept. But nostalgia is definitely not the thing with Ronaldinho. He is very good. He's a fantastic player to use in this game. And the biggest thing is because he's perfect at everything, and then he has really high balance. That's what makes his card really good. Oh wow, the videos for the best midfielders and stuff is doing really well. There's that one video from I think it was the shooting mechanic video that has a crap ton of views. Like I think it's the video with the most views on my channel. I think it might be at like 85 by now. I'm gonna check actually. It's actually right now, it is at 83K. That's the most views I've ever gotten in any video. I think it has like over 1K likes too, which is absolutely insane. And I do appreciate it a lot, guys. This is why I'm working on my YouTube channel now, because the YouTube channel recently has been doing incredibly well. So it makes more sense to provide good content on the YouTube right now and spend the time on the YouTube than it does on the Twitch. Because on Twitch, it's just, I don't even know what to do on my streams, guys. I have so much gameplay to give you guys. My streams right now are literally for YouTube. Like, the gameplay that I'm getting from my streams is for my YouTube channel at this point, because it's so tough to figure out stuff to do in this game. So yeah, I'd rather just keep the content consistent on YouTube and spend the time more on YouTube than on the Twitch, because it just is what it is. But in terms of how stuff is going so far in FIFA, a lot of things need to be changed, man, because even yesterday was a Foot Champs day, and there was barely anyone watching Twitch, man. It's really bad, because you know what it is, guys? I'll explain to you guys the situation, right? And again, this is like a podcast, so I'm just like spewing ideas out of my head, right? The thing about FIFA, right, is that back in FIFA 13, FIFA 12, those days, right, those games changed people's lives, okay? Because if you're a gamer, it's really weird when people come to a YouTube video and a Twitch stream and they say like, oh, do you have a life? It's just a video game. It's more than just a video game for us. We're nerds, man, right? If you come to a YouTube video and a Twitch stream, you're a nerd too, because you're part of the nerd process, right? But in terms of like YouTube, in terms of like FIFA back in the day, it changed people's lives. People who generally played the game liked playing the games. The YouTubers blew up. The Twitch streams were crazy. I remember watching the streams. Not even on Twitch. There was like another website that I used to watch streams on as well, and it was just doing really well. If a game that came out 5 or 6 years ago does better in terms of just being generally a better game, and it has its flaws, right? Every FIFA has its flaws, but for some reason, 12 and 13 were the games that you could play all day and never get bored with it, because there were so many players you can use. There was barely anyone that was going full meta, because meta didn't really make much sense to do in those games, because it was just like, hey, you can use Christian Natsu, you can use like S1 and stuff, and it was just fun, right? I remember S1. S1 was like literally just as close as like a Ronaldo, and it was ridiculous how good he was. I even remember when I had a friend that used to come over to play some FIFA with me, and I'm like, bro, you need to try out this S1 card because it's actually better than, it's not even better, it feels almost as good as Ronaldo, because Ronaldo was a god back in the day, okay? He's a god now, but back in the day, oh my god. I was like, dude, he feels almost just as good as that Ronaldo. He tried it, he's like, dude, this guy is overpowered, right? That's what FIFA used to be like, really fun. So when I see games like Fortnite, right? Obviously, I don't think FIFA can ever reach a height like Fortnite. Although I can at the same time, because here's the thing about FIFA, right? FIFA or football or soccer is a world-renowned sport, right? It's a world-renowned sport. It's not like growing your content on a football, like a American football game or an NHL game. Even 2K. 2K is kind of at the same stage as FIFA, because 2K guys are pretty big, but they don't play the game because they don't like it, right? I've seen it on Twitch. Twitch 2 years ago was popping on 2K. Now it's like really, really dead, even during the daytime. But yeah, 2K and FIFA more than 2K, obviously, should be that type of game that is a consistently good game for the entirety of the year. You have so many players in this game that people don't care to use because it's boring. Everyone uses the same teams. Foot champs is exhausting. You don't spread out your content evenly, right? The game needs to be fun. If you make a game like that, that's where your success is going to come from, right? With EA, the reason why I hate them so much as a company is because them pushing competitive with FIFA is completely down to business, which is completely fine because other games do that too. But other games are ready for competitive. This game is not ready for competitive, so it's just really, for me personally, I would say it's annoying to look at, right? Because it's just not a game that's ready for competitive, and they just push it out like it is, right? I mean, dudes, I didn't watch the stream at all. I watched the highlights, and I'm going to tell you this right now. Every single game seemed like if De Gea was going to save you or not, and it was really stupid. People made beautiful plays and didn't score them by taking proper shots, and they didn't score them because De Gea was so overpowered, okay? That was like a thing by itself to me that was really frustrating. And people saying like, oh, they should have shot differently. The shooting is very inconsistent in this game. There's no consistency with it. A game that is not consistent is not skill-based whatsoever, because if you can take the same shot and get different results, it's not a consistent game. I actually had people the other day in my Twitch chat, which is exactly why I love my YouTube comments nowadays. I actually had a guy in my Twitch chat the other day that told me that if your player doesn't have good shooting, finishing, and composure, he shouldn't do a driven shot even if you're doing a driven shot. I don't care if my player is a bronze player. If he has 50 shooting with 50 finishing and 60 composure, if I'm asking him to do a driven shot, he should do a driven shot every single time. It may not be a good driven shot, but he should still do it, right? I shouldn't do a driven shot and then you put it over the bar because your finishing is bad. That's not even the case, and I hate when people say that, because a Team of the Year Ronaldo will do the same thing where if you do a driven shot, he won't do the driven shot. So it's just, it hurts my head a little bit when people that are genuinely just don't know what they're talking about just spew random stuff like this. So it's definitely very annoying, but I don't want to get into it because, again, negativity from the Twitch streams and the Twitter, we're going to keep it there. YouTube, we're going to keep it fresh. But I did want to vent out my frustration because, hey, this is a podcast type of video. I'm going to talk about these types of things. But yeah, current state of FIFA could be better. It should honestly be a top 6 game on Twitch all the time. It genuinely should, because if you think about the game releases that actually come out, it should be a top 6 game at all times. There should be Fortnite, League of Legends, CSGO, StarCraft. FIFA should definitely at least be in top 10 consistently, 100%, right? But that's completely down to EA whether or not they want to focus on their game being fun or completely business-oriented. And as we know, it's EA, so they're probably going to keep it business-oriented because I don't think it would make much sense for them to really change the system. Because, guys, we talk about these things. The hardcore guys talk about these things. But let's be real right now, okay? They're never going to change their ways, right? Because it's making them money. People generally spend the money on the game. If it's making them money, they're not going to change. Should they change? Hell yes, they should change. The game should be way better because I genuinely think it's an awful video game. Probably the worst, right? Because the gameplay concept alone, being inconsistent and being bad most of the times, is what makes this game absolutely garbage. Because every single year, guys, there is a gameplay that exists in FIFA. It's hidden in there every single year. FIFA 15, 16, 17. It's hidden in there. It's an actual good game. Response time is good. Reaction time is good. Speed of the gameplay. You can feel the speed of the gameplay being quicker. That's when the game is good. If you find that, I don't care what game mechanics you add next year, but if you find what makes your gameplay consistently good, when you find that one gameplay and make it for the entirety of the day, that's where you're going to have success with the game, and that's where people are going to have fun with the game, right? So I feel like that's very important for me. But in terms of the videos that I'm going to be making, guys, if I stream and I have a lot of gameplay from my streams that I post onto YouTube, that's basically what the streams are nowadays. I can't even think of growing my Twitch stream nowadays because it's so stagnant because of the current state of the game. It's crazy, man. It wasn't even like this last year, and I hated last year's game too, right? I hate when people say like he was 17 over 18. Last year's game was a piece of shit too. But moving on from that, it wasn't even like this last year. At least I can play drafts last year, and it was still at least decent, you know, at least 500 people-ish. But nowadays, dude, if I play foot champs during the weekends, you can't even get 300. It needs to change, man. People are not enjoying the game. They don't care to watch content because they're not enjoying the game. And it's just really bad. Look at Fortnite, right? People like the game. They want to get better at the game because they like the game and they know that they're doing stuff wrong, right? When you know that you're doing stuff wrong, you go to YouTube, you go to Twitch, you check out these things. When you're a general player who plays a game and you want to have fun, you want to feel like your players are dribbling and doing stuff in directions that you are doing it. Not extra stupid lunge mechanics that you never ask your players to do. I played a draft the other day and lost to this guy 5-4 because my players did 3 lunge mechanics. I'm standing still right here, and he did a lunge mechanic directly at my player, and he lifted his foot to give the guy the pass 3 different times. The gameplay is so frustrating. These extra game mechanics that EA adds, they need to go because they don't work. The lunge mechanic is the worst mechanic I've ever seen added into a video game, and it definitely needs to be changed, in my opinion. I don't know, guys. I'm at a point right now where it just sucks because when you work so hard every single year to grow your stream and you only notice the decline when people don't like the game, it just really sucks because if people like it, it's just a consistent growth every single day, right? And it would be really nice if that was actually a concept in this game, right? I would love to play a game every day. I'm telling you guys, I don't have a life, bro. Like when I come from work, I don't have a life. I'm playing video games. Like I don't care to go out or anything like that. So if I can stream and play a video game that I thoroughly enjoy, that would be amazing for me. I would absolutely love that. I always say that it's enough of talking about that, but I keep doing it because I'm just so... Guys, you guys know me, man. I'm super passionate towards this game. I love understanding the ins and outs of it, but I genuinely hate the gameplay in FIFA. And I've hated it for the last 5 years because it's just been inconsistent every single year. And it can't do that. Every time I find that gameplay, every single day, I find that one gameplay, and I'm like, wow, I'm actually having a lot of fun. And then it just randomly goes away. It pisses me off so much, man, because it's like, other games don't do this. If you play Fortnite, you know exactly your character in Fortnite doesn't all of a sudden feel like crap. Like, hey, I'm turning left and I can feel this force. Like, I'm turning left, but the force of the game is pushing me to that side. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just frustrated, guys. You guys know me. I'm just a frustrated individual because I put so much work into this game. I had so much belief, and they just completely shit all over us every single year, right? So hopefully, again, they do adjust it. But gotta stop. I just wanted to put that podcast talking about my feelings towards the game. I'm probably gonna do this as a podcast with like Jarba the other day, because he asked me if I ever want to talk about FIFA with him in terms of how I feel and how he feels towards the games, because I feel like with certain things we would agree and disagree on. My opinion 110% would be that the game is crap. I don't know if he would feel the same way about it, but we might do a podcast one day to see how people would feel about the current state of the game, right? So I think people would be really interested in that, but I gotta stop. I told you guys in the video, man, when I start, I don't stop, right? Because I can really go in on this game if I talk about the specific game mechanics that are crap, and when the gameplay feels like shit. Oh, dudes, you guys, I've been talking for an hour. And I think for 35 minutes or 40 minutes of this general video, I've been completely just bashing EA, and it's deserved, man. It really is. Like, I don't care, man. It's not, this game isn't even like other games. It's deserved because you can totally tell that they're doing it for the money. I don't mind that. A business is going to do it for the money, but it's like, you don't care about your players. Don't say that you do, because as an organization, you really, really don't, okay? Sorry. Gotta stop doing this. But yeah, in terms of what types of videos that you guys want to see, you guys gotta let me know, because I genuinely don't really know what to post on YouTube. I think I'm gonna start doing this whole podcast situation more often, but I also have to get certain videos here and there that people are interested in watching, like the tutorials and stuff, to help grow the channel a little bit more in terms of the specifics of the game. I think what I was planning on doing actually was I'm gonna do like probably like a dribbling tutorial, because I think people have been looking for the dribbling tutorial. I wasn't really sure what type of dribbling they were looking into, but I think it's more like the middle of the pitch to when I'm going to the striker. So I think that's the specifics that people are going to be looking forward to. So I think that's what I'm probably going to do for the next video, because I think that's what people would be really interested in seeing. So yeah, I'm gonna look into doing all that. Sorry for the rant, guys. I treat these types of videos like a podcast, so I just need to vent my frustration, because I do this all the time on my Twitch streams. I do this all the time on Twitter. I don't want to bring this to my YouTube channel because I want it to be a positive experience for people, but I like when people know exactly how I feel towards the game. So thank you guys so much for watching the video today. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If I forgot to edit out certain parts because I got like phlegm stuck in my throat sometimes, because I've been talking for an hour straight and I just go to the bathroom and I can't find that exact spot where I took that out, I do apologize for that. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. I do appreciate it. You guys have yourself a good day, and I'll catch you guys for the next video. Be sure to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Catch you guys later. Peace.